You should all be very welcome to this ZignSec annual report presentation for 2023. The presentation will be followed by a Q&A session. Presenting today is the CEO of ZignSec, Mr. Glenn MacDonald. Warm welcome, Glenn. The audience is yours.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session where we'll discuss our achievements of 2023, the challenges that we faced, and also a bit on the outlook of ZignSec AB. My name is Glenn MacDonald. I'm currently the CEO of the ZignSec Group, and I'm looking forward to this session. A bit of an agenda here. It will start with my own reflection. We will end up in a Q&A. I'm really happy to entertain any question that passes by. And in between, basically, I will guide you through some of the highlights of this year's annual report of 2023 and try to zoom in on some of the factors that are of importance for either the company or for you as a shareholder or an interested party in the whereabouts of the ZignSec Group. Hopefully you will stay tuned with me. This will take about 20 minutes, and after that we will have sufficient time to go through any kind of questions. Well, first of all, what's my personal view when I look back on 2023? For me, it was also a quite special year, basically because, of course, I took the role and responsibility of becoming the CEO of the group. And with that also comes a kind of responsibility, and also you are forced to have an even better understanding on how the company is thriving. And 2023 was particularly a year where we had multiple challenges. Economically, I think a lot of things are happening, but also internally, we need to be honest that there were really some things that we need to do better, and that also we did do better. So the advancements that we showed during this period, this year of 2023, only showed, in my belief, the dedication that the team has, that I have, and all the people that are involved and engaged with ZignSec to create new ideas to improve the company, increasing again on success, because I think that was a bit of lacking, the feeling of success, both internally as internally. And above all, with the step-ups that we've been doing in the last part of the 2023, hopefully also we're making a good leeways again to make also our investors, more confident and more assured again that their contributions are being perceived as valuable and bringing prosperity. And how do we do that? Well, before I dive into the figures and the numbers of the ZignSec Group and the performance of the last year, I think it's also good for you to understand where are we standing nowadays as a ZignSec Group. I think under the hood, a lot of things has been happening over the year. And I think not everything was always that visible for many of you who are not in a daily contact with the whereabouts of the company. What we are trying to do nowadays is basically driving a very constrained and very focused strategy and a road to success that is built basically on 6 pillars. One of them is data. We have such a strong asset in-house with all the data that we possess that is very valuable and that we can utilize even more than that we've done until today. We have a very great team, very good expert people that already for many years are active in this field, so they can contribute not only with their expertise, but they know how the market is evolving and what kind of products and services we should offer. The technology really made a huge step forward, and I come back on that a little bit later, but also the way how we now starting to integrate AI capabilities, how we migrating to a microservice architecture that basically also again leads to more scalability, flexibility, and resilience is very good. We are trusted, we are not for nothing and certified by MasterCard as an MMSP certified agent. We are ISO certified, as we are in a trust business. For me, those are very important aspects. And our reach, if you look to what we have as an international client base and how we provide global services and global coverage, in more than 90 languages even. We can support many of those services as well. I think that's something to be proud at. And all of that is driven by a business model, driven by a SaaS model, cloud hosted with easy implementations. So again, I think there are a lot of ingredients, there are a lot of aspects that nowadays are present in the organization again, that are a forefront of further growth and stability again in the company. That said, of course, looking to the performance and the execution of the company last year, there are also buts. And I need to be honest about that. Also for me, it was disappointing that basically the net revenue of 2023 had a minus of about 6% on a year-on-year base. So we were doing slightly lesser than the year before. That said, also our EBITDA increased in the positive a bit. So we did a slight 7% better. Those indicators, also need context. If you look to what really happened in the organization, is that the 6% decline has happened also particularly in an area which is not our core business. If you look to the core products that we offer as a ZignSec group, we are profound in the KYC and the KYB services, as you know. We drove a total revenue of 84.7 million SEK. But the core products of our offerings were growing. So if you look to the KYB year-on-year growth, predominantly the Web Shield services that we had a positive growth of about 20%. If you look to the KYC growth, on our core products, there was a 16%. Unfortunately, two products, Legal Library and VCU, are products that are in transition, and they had a significant decline. And that eventually led to also a decrease in our total revenue. So I don't want to make it better than it is, but I just want to point on the fact that if you look to the core of our business, we really didn't do so bad at all in the year 2023. So basically, if you also look to the highlights that we engaged on 2023, is we definitely expanded into new markets. We successfully launched new products like Proof of Address and Compliance Pass. We ignited quite a lot of cost-saving measures that will have its positive reflection for sure in 2024. We went live in the second part of the year with the Malta Business Registry, a very important customer in Malta. We had, of course, also to do the rights issuings and the direct share issues. I come back on that a little bit later. And there were strategic realignments and technology advancements. As I said, we need to step in the capabilities of our technology. It's key in nowadays business. And with the hiring and with the starting of Daniel Gretsch as CTO, we really made a good strive there in improving also the quality of our infrastructure, better integrating the different companies that are under the umbrella of the ZignSec group. And that led also to a kind of change of leadership, including myself. If you say, what are the strategic initiatives then, and what we accomplished? Well, again, new leadership. Both the appointment of myself and Daniel also has led to, strategically positioning us to enhance our technical capabilities, streamline our operations, ensure that we stay in the forefront of the RegTech industry. So we did a kind of overhaul also in how this organization needs to work with each other. You have to take in consideration that there are still 3 companies that somehow were put together over the course of the years, but were not still fully integrated. Then you miss out also a synergy. You have not even full control, and also the user experience cannot be improved. Well, last year, in the year of the consolidation, we really made some good improvements there already, and we will continue elevating on those improvements also through the year to come. If you look to the product innovations, of course, these innovations, which I just mentioned as well, Address Reveal, Compliance Pass, these basically represent our commitment to providing state-of-the-art solutions. We need to reduce further friction in a very complicated compliancy and verification market. And that's a challenge. It's a very competitive market. Technology developments are going very fast. So for a relatively small company as we are, that's really, of course, also something that, that takes a lot of effort, a lot of focus, and also a lot of resources on our side. But I'm very happy how we stepped up during the year of 2023. That immediately also led to some further market expansions. So what you saw, particularly last year, is that Europe is of course our home base. Yeah, by origin we are European companies. So about 78% of our revenue is more or less European oriented. But we saw a very steady growth also of our revenues in the growth markets, and that also in the near future are those the territories where we need to find our extensive growth. Twofold. Most of our customers and companies are also internationally oriented. They will go to those territories, so we will have natural growth with them. But secondly, also, in those territories, take for example Latin Africa, there's a huge development of digitalization going on. Local companies are in the forefront now of digitalization, and for us that also, with the type of service that we have, creates also a huge opportunity for us to tap into that growing market area, and we definitely want to be there going forward. I mentioned already several times that the year of 2023 was foremost also something that we done under the hood. So if you look to smart savings, brighter future, in response to the dynamic market demands that we had, we streamlined basically our operations. Focus on more efficiency that will support sustainable growth, and also creating changes that are crucial to enhance our operational flexibility and position us for more profitable futures. We are only with 60 people. We're covering more than 50 countries around the globe. We have more than 360 active clients that do monthly, daily transactions with us. With a group of 60 people, if you divide it in the different roles that are, that's really a challenge. So we can really proudly state that we are really an agile company, but we also need to be realistic and we need to be efficient, but we also need to see where we can further develop and grow ourselves so that we can continue also offering to our customers the right quality of services that they deserve. So for that, we need to have solutions for tomorrow. Our focus remains steadfast on delivering innovative solutions, as I said. Compliance Pass is one of the examples I gave, but it's also additional address verification, My Connect platform with Shufa that is now really live, and we see also now finally starting to get some new traction and also new customers popping up in that environment. That's something that is also giving us a lot of confidence that we are going in the right direction. If you look, so what's next, then the strategic partnerships are also very important. As I mentioned, as a small company, it's not always easy to be present, to have reach, to have enough R&D capability as well, to be on the forefront of all the new latest developments that there are. So partnerships are important, and I know that over the last couple of years now there have been multiple presentations of partnerships. With all due respect, most of them are still very much alive, although not always that visible. But we will continue thinking about how can we create a network, how can we find indeed also connections where we can tap in, where we can reuse, where we can integrate, where we can facilitate also the way how we bring our service and offerings to our customers. So collaborating with industry leaders like Absa Bank and MedHelp are very important for us, because those are either new territories where we learn from, or they are in new verticals, where we also can create and experiment our capabilities. And that will again strengthen also the way how we can have further impact in the future. So concluding, on the operational highlights, if I reflect on that, it's about optimizing our business model, innovating our solutions, and safeguarding that we stay true to our mission and to our vision to stay and remain in the forefront of RegTech services delivery globally, and that we can create long-term creation of value for our beloved shareholders. Of course, in this story of innovation, better organization, agility, reach, network, partnerships, There are always challenges and risks. And one of the things that, of course, we can't basically influence and that had some impact in the past is the geopolitical impact. What happened in Ukraine and the sanctions that were posed, it hurted us, it hurted many companies. It's not something that I will continue using as an excuse, by no means. But we also can't close our eyes for the reality that there's a lot of volatility in the market. There's some uncertainty that also reflects on the buying willingness of our customers, and we have to deal with that. But that said, we are confronting those challenges with a lot of confidence, and we are convinced that if we stay focused and if we continue doing the things that we do today, we will go through that. And that also means that sometimes delays in our trajectories with regards of projects can slow down revenue. What we also saw, declines in certain products, as Legal Library mentioned earlier. What do we do with that? How do you respond on that is very important. In that respect, the team quickly came up and assembled a new product like Compliance Pass. So we are responsive. We try to act on what is happening in the market. Not everything is always pitch perfect, but with the focus and the dedication and the stability that we now have in what we want to achieve, I'm very confident that indeed we can mitigate those challenges going forward, and that will create a next wave of opportunities as well. And hopefully also in the recent statements with regards of our Q1 numbers, we can already see some of that experiencing. Let's keep fingers crossed there. But we will focus indeed on high growth markets with those new opportunities. India, we did a publication not so long ago about the fact that we were indeed granted a operating license via the IFCA for a KYB pilot that is there. We are still meticulous working on that. It's not a very fast process as well. I need to be clear there as well. We are working with the Indian authorities. We are working also with the Swedish organizations that can help us land in India. It's a complicated market to sell in, but we are steadfast and focused. We know what we are doing, and we will get there. We have not signed real contracts yet, but we have some good conversations going on. So, and we keep on pushing, and we will make it happen there. The same accounts for Africa. We were in a similar situation there not so long ago. Eventually, we signed an upside contract, and now we are seeing more and more traction also in the African markets that are engaging us actively. So I'm really confident that we can really start continue growing in that matter. And everything that we've done in 2023 was basically a foundational pre-work to make that success starting to thrill. And for me, it's always about focus, and that's what we definitely do. And with that, I think for the long haul, we will take a very good place in the RegTech space going forward. So that said, that is a little bit of the context of ZignSec over 2023. The financial part of it, as I mentioned already, we had a challenging year with a 6% decline in net revenue. Our focus was on strategic initiatives and cost management, and that is indeed improving our base on which we want to build. So, one of the initiatives that we took was the cost saving initiative. With the measures that we took, our estimation is that it will lead to some 40 million annual decrease of costs. Let's see, but we already see now that what we did in 2023 shows its results. So that's positive. Again, focus, stay resilient, and keep on doing what you think is good for the company and for everybody involved. If you see what the key trends and observations are for 2023 from a financial perspective, then as I mentioned, the core products have been growing. So despite the decline of 6%, our core products have been steadily growing, and that's also good to understand that the core of our business is healthy and profitable in a sense that it has still a lot of traction. There's a lot of customer interest, and we continue being able to sell the products and services that we have to the right audiences. The challenge for us is also to compensate for those products that are either overhauled by regulations, like legal library, or that changed because the customer demand disappeared, or changed in a different direction, like VCU products. And that's the kind of creativity and focus and knowledge that we need to do together to build new services, new value-added services, find new partners, find new ideas to continue being that that growth stimulants that we have. If you also look to ZignSec, because ZignSec is basically always the KYC part, WebShield is always basically the KYB part of things. Also for ZignSec particularly, if you look to certain products like Register Check or ID Scan, we saw a humongous growth there as well. And on the one hand, it's because new technical enablement, new platform features, better services, better procedures made it happen. It was also about selecting the right suppliers in our business model. So we changed also indeed with some suppliers during the year. That really helped in growing our volumes in the core products of our KYC delivery. On the other hand, there were also some other products like PEP and sanctions that decreased basically because the demand of a very few large customers basically disappeared, and that also had immediate impact. And that's also something that we need to overcome. But these things are happening. But overall, our products and services were very well perceived, even in a year where we had a -6% decline of revenue. Wiser, always the one in relation to the Malta business project, have been delivering on the project. We had some challenges also there, of course. It's a large governmental organization, sometimes difficult also to manage to get hold on. We have some project surprises. Well, to be honest, some of you who have been involved in very large programs and projects, have you ever had a program where there were no delays or surprises? We have to deal with that as well. But I think also there's a steadfast going, continuous improvement, stronger customer relationship, and I've hoped that also going forward we can make it more steady and more profitable for the organization. Overall, I think we created a lot of decrease of costs, a steady revenue on the core products, and it also leads to a situation where the EBITDA slightly improved. Our equity asset ratio are quite healthy to that extent, basically creating a very healthy position, a cushion with regards of the cost related to that. Our cash flow management also slightly improved. So all the factors, all the metrics underneath the company show signs of recovery. And that's also, that really motivates me and the team to continue on the road and the path that we are conducting today. So if you just summarize everything, if you look to 2023, it was about, focusing on spending, expanding in different markets, building a foundation for further growth and acceleration, cleaning up and also, fine-tune on, the integration of the different company parts within the group. And now it's stepping up again. Product development is, of course, continue enhancement of those products and services that we already have, identifying new opportunities by new regulations or by new demands of customers, and also stay at par with the latest technology developments. So you need to be also in the forefront of companies that can deal with AI, that can deal with large language models, and can be as smart as possible with treating data, which I mentioned earlier is one of our core assets, in a way that our customers will benefit from that. In the end, my sole aim and purpose as CEO of this company to make a sustainable, healthy growth company again of the ZignSec Group, with a robust pipeline, with lots of innovations planned in the pipeline. So I think that's basically also in summary the year as we had it. So it's we navigated through a lot of challenges. Some of them were tough, some of them were more light to deal with, but we did it with a dedicated team, with a strong team, with an engaged team, and we are looking quite confident ahead in 2024. And the long-term vision is basically really becoming the go-to RegTech company for any kind of company that is in the high-risk business to do their compliancy and indeed their business verification and customer verification services. And as we leave 2023 behind us, I'm looking towards in the future, and that path is marked with innovation. It's it's really with strategic expansion, and it's with a lot of commitment, with a lot of positive energy. And me and the team are really committed to really make this a growth company again, and also show you and give you that return on value as well as an investor in that sense. That said, there are some other events, because I think it's very important that we as ZignSec Group are more transparent and better in the way how we work, how we deal, how we are performing. I received over the last couple of months quite a lot of complaints, if I may call it like that, that we were not communicating good enough. And I took that very heartfelt. I really felt that that was an omission that we needed to repair. For me, transparency, sharing with each other, working with each other, partnering with each other within the context and the boundaries that we have, of course, as a public listed company, is very important. And I hope also that you will be part in the future upcoming events where we will communicate, where we will be elaborate, and where we will explain the whereabouts of this great company. That leaves basically me with regards of the presentation. I suggest that we now open the floor for any questions, and I will do my best to give the proper answers to.
Thank you, Glenn, for this presentation. We have indeed received some questions for you, and I will start off with a question about what is the status of India and the IFSCA? Have you signed any customer agreements in India, or what is interest from the country?
Yeah, well, it's and I already mentioned it a little bit during my presentation. The India project is very much happening and in progress still. It's a slow process, however. So just for the ones who can't recall, about 3/4 of a year, we applied for a pilot with regards of KYC in the Indian territory. It was a government-driven project by the IFCA. We, as ZignSec, were the only foreign company that was indeed approved for that pilot. In the months thereafter, we start engaging with the IFCA. We start discussing, and to be honest, we are still discussing. We are still very diligent working on how we can create traction. What I saw up until now is that also for the Indian IFCA, it is not really clear yet how they want to enroll the general KYC services in India. I can only say, long story short, we are still very well positioned to participate in that new enrollment of KYC service in India. We have a good relationship with the IFCA. We are also working together with some Swedish organizations that help companies land in India. As we are a small company, we still don't have full soldiers on the soil there. So we do everything to make it happen. And I'm still very confident that in the near future, we will get some very positive results out of it. You have to imagine that once you're going live in a country like India, then it's immediately also volume. So that's why I keep on investing in this project. I still believe very much in it. But we can't control, of course, the speed of the IFCA in that respect.
I understand. Thank you. In July 2022, the company announced a partnership with Ethoca and MasterCard. Can you please comment on the current status of this partnership and the revenue potential still? There are some raised concerns during these questions today about how the partnership progress.
Yes, first of all, I totally understand why this question is posed, and that it even goes so far as 2022, although we are discussing here 2023 year results. What I can say about that partnership is that it's still very much alive, but in a different way than as it once was envisioned, if I might call it like that. I think that at the time of the announcement, the insights and the understanding of the automated chargeback opportunity was different than what the reality is of today. I think once the group started to work together with Ethoca, we discovered that the business model to implement it in a seamless and efficient way was quite challenging. It was very difficult to do a mass enrollment of all those merchants that are often part of the portfolio of an acquiring bank, which then can do the chargeback process on all the transactions that those merchants are doing with consumers. And it ended up that it was a tripartite one-on-one contract relationship that needs to be created with merchants. Will go further in the details, but we needed to go back to the drawing board. And I'm coming from payments as a background for you who doesn't know. And honestly, I see still very much the opportunity with the capabilities, the insights, and the knowledge that we have to fulfill a very important role in some parts of the payments process that are very painful and it's very costly also for all the parties involved. But we need to find a way to do it differently. So the partnership with Ethoca is still there. We are still very much very close friends in that respect. But we are trying to build a different go-to-market model than initially foreseen. Is that a positive answer to the announcement once made? Well, perhaps not. But I think sometimes it's also learning by doing. And I think that for me, it's totally clear that something will come out of this partnership and this relationship. And probably it will already come, hopefully, this year. So yeah, I say bear with us. But the relationship and the partnership is definitely not dead, but we need to do it slightly different. That's my answer.
Thank you, Glenn. The next question, how is it possible that ZignSec needs money once again when you just made a rights issue 4 months ago and the cash position was 14 million SEK at the end of Q4? Where did all the money go away? The question is.
Yeah, well, okay. I can make a joke about it, not on my bank account, but I will not do that. What happened is that, and you can also see that in the forecast of 2023. First of all, there was really a quite significant decline in revenue in Q4. Secondly, there were 2 rights issuings conducted last year. The first one was solely for the purpose of finalizing on the buying transaction of Wiser. Yeah, so basically, not so much to make the company better from a growth capability perspective, but it was basically to ingrain, to import Wiser into the constellation, which we now bear the fruits from because Wiser is the most important party to create the new platform capabilities that we are currently designing and enrolling into the market. The second one, first of all, yeah, was not was a direct issued one that, yeah, due to the setback of the revenue, due to the fact that some projects were delayed, yeah, we needed to invest in that more in unforeseeable, challenges, financial challenges than initially thought of. And that's the main reason why, we decided to do another rights issuing. And of course, I'm totally aware and I fully understand the concerns, expressed by shareholders regarding these rights issuings, because of course, it also is, creating further dilution. And, it also creates potential uncertainties. But if we want to grow as a company, if we want to, indeed grasp the opportunity that we've been creating now by doing that, resetting of the company in the last couple of months, then we need to have indeed the working capital to invest in more better developers, more better salespeople. Take in consideration today, we only have 6 or 7 dedicated people who are doing sales with a company that is active in more than 50 countries, with customers, more than 370 customers live that also are continuously asking support and want to further grow and want to engage with us further. I think, for me, it was the only logic step to make, although it can be painful in certain other aspects. But yeah, that's sometimes the challenge that you have as management. You need to go for the most plausible way to enroll on a road of success of the company. And I honestly believe, with the hand on my heart, that this is the right way for the company. And that basically led to a very, short new rights issuing after we conducted the one late last year.
Yeah, thank you for that answer, Glenn. You have initiated a process now to evaluate ZignSec's potential strategic options to maximize shareholders' value. Can you comment on what the goal is, but also what is behind this decision?
Sure. Listen, now, if you look to the type of business that we are in at, I think it's always about identifying the best possible inroads to further success. And to make that happen, you need to be sometimes also open-minded and, go beyond, the expected. And the discussion I had also with the board is that, in the current dynamics, you see that in the market, there's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of consolidation going on. There's a lot of technology innovation going on. There are a lot of regulations and rules that are changing that also leads to new products and services. As a company, you continuously need to be in the quest to find what is the best inroad, for shareholder value, for growth, for, how can we meet the customer demands in the best possible way. And in that respect, also a strategic review beyond, work capital advancements is possible. Are there any partners with whom we can work better and go faster? It can even be indeed in the extreme form that, we identify that it's better to be sold to a larger company, because then we can create even better synergies for the benefit of our customers and the benefit of the growth of the company. It's not per se that we will go to a sell, but I think it's our duty and our obligation as a management to evaluate every possible solution for the future growth or healthiness or financial viability or customer quality that is available. Of course, it depends on certain market dynamics as well. So, we need to analyze what's best fit for the company, for the customers and our shareholders. It depends on our own performance. And it has to do with the competitive landscape, of course. With the rights issuing that we are now undertaking, probably, we are in a quite, hopefully, healthy position to also grow autonomously. But that said, that still will not exclude any other potential opportunity. And that's, I think, also what we do with the strategic review. In the end, it's also a process, an evaluation, where, if it comes to a kind of transaction, we will always, engage with the shareholders. In the end, shareholders will decide what we will do with the company. For me, it's a quite logic step again to evaluate what's possible, what can we do, what's best for the company, best for our customers, and in best case for our shareholders.
Thank you. One question is a little bit of concern of the idea to talk about selling ZignSec now when the stock price is at record low. Why not try to build the company value and then talk about a bid and a sales process?
Well, that can also be a strategy. First of all, I'm totally convinced that the current share price is not a reflection of the true valuation of this company. So what does a share price state? It's also in that sense sometimes a reflection of emotion or whatever. I think that yes, we do both now. So yes, we are full throttle in making the company even better. I do that every day, every morning. I wake up and everything what I do is trying to do it a little bit better than yesterday, and that's exactly what my team is doing as well. And with the current rights issuing process, hopefully, I can accelerate and I can fill in on the strategic ambitions and the growth ambitions that I have with the company together with the team. But that still doesn't, should stop us to exploring also what else is possible to create an accelerated growth. And again, it's all about understanding, learning, analyzing, and then decide together as management, as board, as shareholders, what's best for the company. And please also don't forget the customers. In the end, it's also about the customers. Every day, we need to deliver the best possible service, the best possible products to our customers. And, as I said, being a small company, it can be a huge challenge to stay in the forefront of RegTech evaluations if you are that small with that limited size and active in so many countries. So, it's just a balancing act, and we need to find the right way. But if you don't explore it, then you will never know.
Understand. Thank you. Now a little bit different question regarding the Malta business registry. Have you had any interest and communicated need from other actors or countries for a similar solution? And to the following up on that is also, do you have an efficiency and business opportunity here in the way that you can reuse or resell the platform with some adaptation and tweaks?
Mm-hmm. I like this question. It's a very good question, to be honest, because that was particularly also, my first thoughts as well. When I dove into the specific setup of the Malta business project and portal, what you see is that it's very difficult to create a one-size-fits-all business registry platform because the level of sophistication, IT availability, data quality per government can be totally different. If I only see already how many issues we have to solve with more than 30 administrative departments in Malta, and you see the lack of disconnection and also the lack of quality or the difference in quality per department, it immediately also, you start to understand this is always a bespoke setup. Can we re-commercialize it to other, governments? Yes, to a certain extent, it can, because the lessons learned and the foundational thinking, the architectural design is reusable for any other. And what we also do, we try to, be part of tenders, because often these kinds of governmental projects are part of tenders. But it's not an easy to sell product. So we are engaging, we are trying. In all honesty, we didn't put full throttle on it because of the complexity, and also because our wiser team in Malta is still very, very busy also in fine-tuning and also bringing it to a second release of that capability for the Maltese government to do proper administration on their sole traders and on their registered companies. So again, long story short, yes, there are selling opportunities, but it's a long stretch and it's a very complicated bespoke creation that you need to build for any type of other government than the Malta government.
Thank you. Next question is about your ID solutions and onboarding platform. The impression as an outsider, it seems as you are not able to leverage on it as an onboarding tool at its full potential. Have you any comments and thoughts to that point?
Well, yeah, the one thing I can comment on is no, it's definitely not perfect yet, but we are doing quite okay. One of the things, of course, indeed, is that also my focus and my belief is that we can create it in a way better platform experience as well. And that our customers basically almost with a cafeteria model can click and choose what they want to have to do their compliance onboarding on their specific customers. I think we come quite from far because we are still very much in a flux on creating that seamless platform experience. We are, with TrustPath, but also with other platform features, we are gradually starting to step up. But at a certain moment last year, I also really said to the teams, wait, it's nice that we built, but how strong is the foundation? So I also pushed them a little bit back in that start looking at really the foundation, because we need to be sure that we can build a skyscraper on that. So yes, I need to confirm we can still do better, but we are doing better, and there's more to come. And over the coming periods, one can see more and more full-fledged platform capabilities on our side, where we basically comprise all the different features, services, and capabilities that we have in a more seamless experience. So yeah, there's still work to do. I agree on that.
Thank you. The last question is about the cash position, sort of. Can you elaborate further on why your bridge loan on 4 million SEK is needed until the funding is in place?
That's just because you want to have stability. You don't want to have any kind of uncertainty. I think one thing that we've learned at least I learned from the last couple of periods, that every time again, somewhere there's a surprise popping up, which you need to anticipate for, or where you have to deal with, to really create ease of mind and, be sure that, we can in all security, safety, can work on that rights issuing, and also making the investment plans already ahead on what we want to do to further accelerate with the company. The board has decided to also go for a bridge loan. It's more a smart administrative process to create ease of mind, and from there on take it. So in all the discussions that we have, even with strategic orientations, the more in control you are, the more risk there is in the company, the better also you can have those conversations. So no panic. It has been a tactical decision, and yeah, it's integral part of the rights issuing that as I see it.
Thank you. We had actually received one last question. Could you kindly comment on how the very large player like PGT collaborate with you? What the assignment with them looks like?
Well, it's quite a simple assignment. Help us in defining the strategy ahead, and why using a company like PGT and not a local advisory organization is because we are a global organization, and we foremost also foresee our growth outside of Europe. And then it helps if you can work with a large international player in that sense. And apparently they like us, and the conversations are going very smooth and very prosperous. They bring some good and interesting insights that also challenge us and triggers our minds. So nothing but positive about it, and I'm happy that we found an in route to PGT and that we can work together.
Thank you. And with that, then we close up the Q&A with ZignSec. Thank you, Glenn, for this event, and I would like to wish you a very pleasant Valborg evening.
Again, thanks everyone for the time spent to listening to me. Appreciate it, and hopefully until the next time.